Mr. Talamsa. Mr. Talamsa. Thank you very much for inviting us to this talk show. Good morning to all our customers. I just want to say that I'll be just speaking a little bit in English and Palawan, just so because we have a lot of our customers who are also non-Palawan, and this announcement is actually really important. I will go ahead and just explain some key points, and then our public relations officer will also translate what I'll say to our Palawan listeners, so we can get everything clear. As Mr. Talams mentioned, President Whips Jr. signed RPPL 11-18. And in this bill has some important things inside, especially those Mora PUC. Number one, seguir Palau Energy Administration, blal expanding dakadil oversee regulation ma rate making process ra dengi or electric rate, and mo directly oversee a regulation ma tariff making process ra water and wastewater operations. Just to be clear, PEWA model oversee management ma operations. It's just to look and review regulations, look at PUC, making sure a process follow rule of policy ma introduce a rate autirak a proper laws and regulations, namely RPPL 10-53, I think, which establishes the PEA. And the AFPAC, or the fuel surcharge, is based on regulations outlined regulations of Palau Energy Admin. Just to be clear, PUC amla model rule regulation and amla model approve al tariff. We endorse it and mura PEA based on needs in the form of expenses, and in order to continue providing reliable, efficient power. Yeah, PEA check to see if PUC follow process ma formula nga sila regulation, and then they approve. Just to alleviate the irrational theory that maybe PEWA is going to be there to dictate how they operate, and just to be clear, PEWA it was under the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, because it's more financial and legal. Ministry of Finance is the proper agency to have it housed within. It's not that it was never part of it, and it was originally part of a ministry, because I guess in sige time it took commissioning wasing oversee was solar ma renewable energy infrastructure and thing. So the mara lo mesa ang PEWA more financial, legal, research. So they're best under the Ministry of Finance. So they're there just to make sure that if PUC introduces new rates and fees, or there are policies that could help PUC improve and be more efficient, they will do that through the PEWA. And in this bill, at the same time, Mr. Talams, there was included a subsidy, and I just want to make it clear that there are two different subsidy programs that are actually within the law and ongoing, and that have been changed by the law. The first subsidy program is the low income. I think we all know about the low income. The low income subsidy is the program of the Ministry of Finance. The Mora Ministry of Finance application. There's also applications at PUC. You fill the application, they screen to make sure that you meet the income threshold, and then you're allowed a subsidy. With this new bill, it expands the income threshold, Mr. Talam, so it's a very good program. Right now, I think it's 10,000 per head of the household, or 10,000, 15, 10? 4,000. Sorry, I apologize. We should know this, but it's a Ministry of Finance program. But the good news is, from 4,000, it's now up to 20,000. So if your income is 20,000 a year, you're eligible. But I also want to be clear. I understand that there were some questions about retirement benefits and whether they are considered income. In my experience, after interviewing some of the applicants, Ministry of Finance does consider retirement benefits as income, so they will count that as part of the income of the head of the household if the head of the household apply. So we just want to make that clear, and hopefully the Ministry of Finance can look in this. There were some comments in another forum where they said maybe the Ministry of Finance should look at retirement benefits, but that's their regulations. PUC, all it does is receive the names that were screened by Ministry of Finance, offset the accounts for those approved by the Ministry of Finance. The second subsidy program is 1.4 million that goes to the general public or the general customer base, meaning in PUC we have residential consumers, 3 tiers. So you have the 0 to 150, which is the first tier. Then you have 151 to 500, which is the second tier. And then anything over 500 is the third. This subsidy will only cover the first 2 tiers, meaning the first 0 to 500 kilowatt hours. So any customer, residential only. Unfortunately, the language in the law says that it's only to residential consumers, 0 to 500 kilowatt hours. It does not go to commercial. So those are some of the key things that I just wanted to mention in regards to the law and the subsidy. So I'll also give it to our PRO because she has more details about how it impacts the bill. What's the actual numbers, and when you would expect this to occur, because it was supposed to be this. There was effort to make it available April 1st this month, but due to, I guess, congressional process, it may be available May 1st, but it will be available to all our customers.
Sulang TV ngil tuta mo dalong markaw marsta farkara pala wave to bet sulong il tuta more trigal okya kar kamam no sabril tun in rashor kamam TV mle open ra talk show el gora di stress cycle mal gor important el information el mlarsel RPPL 11-18 el blalsa ngia atanga kal president surang al Webs Junior ersera lui ma ewal qabsengi la tel dir omlomre galong edel boila en hal qadimo translate taygal dilul motor bela wadang
kam no tulu aisel mal mo gora di tela gigel
okay
lu aisel to gamlik
okay ngoyak segi del la alblel sayo ngi ya president surang Webs Junior en segi del Naringil Palau Energy Administration ang amla mo Palau Energy Water and Wastewater Administration ang mga alta mga wablabol expand dangar alir dal du kasing ta manage or to kora omesra operations ra PPUC dirgamal di ngar alir omesra aigal policies el qase PPUC ngol tirak legal policy ngar alla el seta ara la dengi maral ma seguida mal men ngar alira PEWA dagal mel mera management mel osada operation ra dengi maral ma timlo sogal mga taklisay direk al lulbangel tagi del la albel saying ngani ya president ngani ya Wagel dilo at Tmetuchl ngaringi at tablong el subsidy program el marar el altam sel gota tal dido dangali el low income subsidy lo nga sewer trigel el adal tar basrir el harawa dengirtir maral masuwertir sea malmol mal program sel la albel saying nga president awal long as akli sel income threshold ra obli lamang Our tagi dalla is income ra amle 13,000 trigegi da eligible ditella amle ongas akli mo 20,000 income ra blay alskuma household income ra that 20,000 malubong merio trigegi da eligible tagi del subsidy and selong erong al subsidy lulsa dringi at Tmetuchl tele Walgora general subsidy almora residential only. Di mo okay ka mamalo oblilim. Di ka ball cover bills ra wa business mangrang maldi mo all nga sew ra residents el wal haraw ra subsidized sell rate residents el government tamo pera 10 cents per kilowatt residents only from 0 to 500 kilowatt ikigida wal ko ra lar al seltel el saying nga president.
Maybe she can go over. She can tell us what the rates are. What the rates
Oh,
are.
balong ila, ngong ila mo aysan mo specifically mo aysan mo.
Okay.
Elal April 1st, en girel masarala den gile kom le announcer ngira
Yes.
2 months ago.
I say.
En ram le klungel arala den gira last month.
Yep.
Mangala besen mo dio relat sils.
First, do the without and then with the subsidy.
Okay.
If we receive the money.
Okay. Ang waise mo dalong ara la dengir tal lomre qalbuil ra talong edel buila amle sel qotel daw al residents el los pera dengil 0 to 150 kilowatt amle 27.5 cents el al April ang mas al mo 34.1 cents kada malmal malmorsel lo ngerul daw material residents el los pera 151 el mo 500 kilowatt sera talmomre galbuy le tahara ra 34.9 cents el along e walbuy le tahara ra 41.5 cents tirigel ngara ong evel tier tirigel los pera 500 el kilowatt el morbab at talmomre galbuy en tahara ra 39.4 cents el al April le tahara ra 46 cents per kilowatt. Yan suko mag-iingus el subsidy ra Ministry of Finance en sell rate el hara ringir el al ongewal buil the lutalomo or sell hotel daw sell first tier mang rate el al April 34.1 cents yagi mo sell subsidy el apply ringi ang mo mang tal mo 24.1 cents sa longerul tira rate ringi el al longewal buila 41.4 cents yagi mo sell subsidy ang mo 31.5 cents elang hindi ka subsidy more ay kel longedel tira material commercial government sel subsidy mal blakatakal nga ralal kasi ang maldi mo residents legal hotel maong erul tier
Mela tegi del el 11-18 se ngolto daudo del molong seora arala dengi ese di mortirgel ngariora 500 kilowatt hour lo spare ngiramand el medio wese
Mr. Talams, it covers the first 0 to 500. So, for example, let's say your monthly consumption is 1,000 kilowatts. Your first 0 to 500 is subsidized, but the other 500 is.
Okay.
So, if you're below, you get the full subsidy.
Yes.
So, it encourages us to conserve, Mr. Talams. If you're using 1,000 and you can bring it down to that subsidy lifeline, you get the subsidy. But Congress, if you, I saw the hearings. There's desire to just subsidize residentials. If we look at the last subsidies, the reason why it was across the board. But then when I listen to the sessions, it's because they just want to subsidize and focus on the residential.
Marami do gerela tial 1.4 million lo top dan tial 11-18 lang. Tamlangun mas kami ulo do.
You can explain that part.
so lang raw ngilgere mo dolong ang elal time ang sa mong dira kalbas ka ma'am sel 1.4 million subsidy ng artel RPPL 11-18 diging asior ka ma'am la adu lamang gela minister matral tamala sa malore edel lolto badaringi yang selmal el corazón ma'am el maruringi ulgo magtobra next week el luera onge de lurior le onge de lurior next week in first el bill print agi printer sel bill ra the first bill ra al sel el albuy laging printer ngira next week Wednesday mas ko maging ang usel ludo da raw era onge de lurior ing sabamel mo apply sel subsidy el albuy tils ko mong mamyo deng maagira mel apply tel subsidy ra onge email buil
Tilal Molgonia Musel 1.4 million adiramo Enyam la kick in service el lurate el girelo murel al sil sen mo 41.5 cents.
I see.
Le 27.5 cents elang mo
34.1.
o ema 41.5 cents mo residencial.
I see.
Malsguma a national government de albas community the subsidy il malmuterong e delureo e rada mo mabile tilo giutial pesel indinga ni ate eliun mo credit tiruri un malu vendia
Director,
What? I'm sorry?
do we credit?
elal sugum utamo meu de lot of this eludo de la finance el mera PPUC Rabai Wednesday. E motob da bilera ade tamo petegi del veselurate.
Sorry.
El top da do dururiule como credit tir.
No.
Yeah.
If come Wednesday, we have to wait till May. We will not apply it in the middle of the month. You have to wait.
Como misterira next May.
One whole month the harar sel rate, and then on May 1st ang gikin subsidy mo. But there will be no crediting.
Oh.
Okay.
O mela ang doltira kara situation rela. Ya lu ang ilse kara elal April 1st. El sum de al mre de mskme gelu do e mergo mo moltira ka seguir de beslo el increase mergo mo pilara. De sum de ge mori to de do by Wednesday e seguir el bila mori reflected tag the subsidy.
I see.
Kami amal musulat terung nga kami nga suliu tiralo pengkeder el time ang ania director administration la PPUC el Mr. Tmetuchl Baules ma Isebong Rengulbai nya public information officer a PPUC e al sum nga nia kami ko mo gel melen dimdela la nga edel bong subirlo o ngera ngil dilgeren gagida ang irmangan lamil geren momoral de swal en disum nga nia mutet somit munge betul kama
Sorry, coming. They can always email our office, PRO. They can call customer service if there's any questions about what we said today.
Nga man merang suliu le malungila information to dan gagi dele Isebong me magi beloil din dam harang beloil di otob den mera cellphone ngama magali mer ngama magi di otob den gora male mesensima magi di otob de dagim charge meuma ndigum sulera information Isebong lang girara drablun mom dange gagi del togel kami almost every week din ya emergency ngamira outage ra power maran leng man utay gal facility gida infrastructure man mereng asulim na sabihin mere la tuka dam do tingin mo mal musum
So lang modalong ra ikal supporter gal mera PPUC digum teera si Omar Adrabor dra PPUC digu renga sulira roguil lokya karkamam di dongot mokla batangya da masel guk next el gimera talk show so lang